Good evening, TDN listeners, and welcome to this week in interview. I hope you guys missed me as much as I missed you. This is the first episode of 2022. Actually, 2022 is our 12th season of this week in interview. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back with you. I hope that you are as well. Tonight I did not schedule a guest because I wanted to talk a little bit about what we want to do with this speaking interview, and of course I will be soliciting your feedback because I do this for you. So your guidance is welcome and valuable. So we're going to be talking about what we want to do with the program. What you want us to do with the program would also be very helpful. When I was thinking about the program, I thought about a theme of empowerment, individual empowerment. And so I will want you to give me some feedback as to some of the things that we can do around that theme. I'll try to explain to you my concept of personal empowerment, different aspects of it. So welcome. Well, I'm going to just go directly into the curriculum anthem, and when we come back, I will launch into all of what we're going to do. I have an exciting conversation I want to say. I will entertain all your comments in the chat. I hope you are in an interactive mode, and so we can just have a little rap session. That's what I'm looking forward to. So let us do the curriculum anthem. When we come back, we will launch into episode 1 of season 12 of this speaking interview.
From many distant lands, our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains. Waged and fought through victory and pain. By test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrating song as we rise to heights where we belong. The quake
welcome back, listeners. As I told you before, we took the Caribbean anthem break. I'm really excited to be back with you for 2022. I took a long break. I took half of December and all of January. I was just trying to test to see if you guys missed me. I hope you did. I missed you guys too. It's exciting to be starting 2022 on this weekend interview, the 12th season of this weekend interview. This is actually the 13th year of TDN Radio and the 12th season. So I want to say welcome to everybody. Of course, I know I have quite a few of diehard listeners. I don't want to call it that. I should call it loyal, and really I appreciate that so much. I really appreciate that you continue to make me part of your you continue to make me part of your weekly schedule. Really, I appreciate that so much. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This weekend interview is intended to talk about contemporary issues, but from a different perspective. The day that I feel like we're just another program, yeah, I feel that you can just click your remote or your mouse and get the same thing that we say that somebody else is saying that we're saying in the same format and all of that. I think that's the day we will have to look at using the hour for a different purpose. And so, as I said, uh, we want to keep it relevant. We want to keep it engaging. And so I am asking you. I'm welcoming your input into, for example, how we can go about shaking up the show, making it 2022. I'm an old man. We have some new, young, vibrant listeners. What do you find um, stimulating? What do you find exciting? What can else can we incorporate? We made quite a few strides. We started with just radio, and then we have a video now, TDN TV is video. So we've made some strides, but how more can we incorporate social media? Those concepts and those ideas, I hope we get to talk about. Special welcome to our listeners in Dominica on RVR Jam. They're on DigiPlay channel 59. Special welcome to you. I guess because it's the first time that we're getting together for the year, I really should wish you a happy and healthy and wealthy 2022. I want to be able to know that by the end of 2022, you have progress, whatever progress means to you. And that is sort of like what I want to really talk about. I was thinking about the show and the programming and so on. And the thing that came to my mind was empowerment, personal empowerment. So whatever it is that you in your own self can embody as your empowerment, I would like to encourage you to embrace that and clarify it. It has to be clear. So write it down. What is it that we want to achieve? Because what came to my mind was that for the last 2 years, I encourage you to look outside of yourself. Find somebody that you want to be there for. Find somebody that you're just going to help them. You don't even know how you can help them. Maybe babysit for them. Maybe sit. If it's a person who lives by themselves, you sit with them once a month and just have a little conversation. We went through the challenges of COVID and experienced what it is like to be home without going to go to the outside. So we really encouraged you to be there for one person. I think 2 years in a row I did that. I'm saying just think of one person and just commit that you're going to be there for that person. And I hope some of you embraced that and you did that and you got some satisfaction from that. But this year I want you to look inward. I want you to look at yourself and be there for you. So what do I mean by that? For example, if you are a young mother and you have a child, mothers tend to overdo sacrificing themselves for their kids or for their families. I want you to think about how you can carve out something for yourself. Like how you can, what is it that you enjoy? Find something that you enjoy. Maybe it's something you always wanted to do. Maybe you always wanted to learn a second language. Maybe you always wanted to learn to play the guitar. Maybe you always, wanted to start a little garden. Maybe you wanted to join a group. Maybe there's a place you always wanted to visit. Decide what it is that you're going to do for yourself, and promise yourself that you're going to commit the time, the attention, and the focus on doing that for yourself. So, so understand, you can still do that and be there for the person that you've always been there for. So if last year you followed my advice and you picked a person and you decided you were going to be there for that person, I'm not necessarily advocating that you drop the person. However, I am definitely advocating that you turn some attention to yourself and you decide what is it I always wanted to do. You can do it big. It could be that you're in a job and you really would prefer to be doing something else, a different career, in a different place. Um, Maybe go take a class so you can apply for a different position in the same company that you're working for, whatever. Maybe you want to go self-employed, maybe you want to start a side gig, but it could be something big that you've always been putting up. I need you to take some time, write it down, clarify it, and then just think about taking steps to achieve it. Good evening, Lofty. Good evening, Veronica Pascal and the Easter. Those are the folks who have made comments. I can only see who's on if you comment, but everybody else, I'm saying good night and good evening and welcome. Yes, so turn the attention to yourself, because some people say that you cannot pour anything out of an empty cup. Okay, you cannot continue to be there for your family the way that you have been if you burn yourself out. If you take everything that you have from inside of you and you do nothing for yourself, what is it that you're going to have left? All you're going to have is passion. All your substance is going to get sucked out, and you're going to have pie. Like in Dominica say, "Tiwe boyo mete pie." So that's what we're talking about. When you start with all your vigor and your vitality and your motivation, and then you find that you just give and you give and you give and you give. And it's for people that you love, so you enjoy doing it, but at the expense of doing stuff for yourself, then it's like what you have left is straw. And the next time something big comes up, you the next time something comes up, you're going to not have enough to give that person. Good evening, Christian. I think you want to put me on the spot about a conversation that we have that we need to revisit. Welcome, definitely. Because I am applying this to myself as well. I intend for us to take this journey together. I intend for us to take this journey together. And one of the things I'm considering, I will tell you, um, those of you who know a little bit about me, you know I'm in construction and I work a full-time job as a construction manager. And so one of my objectives this year is to be able to grow my business sufficiently that I can go back to being self-employed. I used to be self-employed. I've been working maybe for 5 years now. So to transition back into that self-employment, because um, what it will do for me is to give me more time to do the things that I truly enjoy. Not that I don't enjoy my work, but I live in New York City, I live in Brooklyn, and I work in the Bronx. So in the morning, it takes me like almost 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes to drive to work. And in the evening, it takes me more time than that to get home. So it's an ugly commute. I I really enjoy my time by myself. And so when I'm in the car by myself, I'm probably listening to an audio book or some kind of motivation or something, or I'm making phone calls that I need to make. So the time passes, but it still is 4, 5 hours of commuting a day, right? I get to work, I enjoy my work, but at the end of the day, I have to do that. And so a lot of the things that I'm passionate about suffer because of that, because I'm commuting 4 hours, I'm working 10 hours. Mostly, I cannot even lie and say I'm working 8 hours. I work 10 hours because when I'm doing something, I just do it. And so one of my major goals for 2022 is to put myself in a position where I can walk away from a full-time job and do my business full-time, and so I can take back that time. I can have better control of my time. And so yeah, you have it. That's my big goal for 2022. There are small things that that need sweating for that to happen, and that is exactly what it is. When you set a goal, achieving the goal is important, but more importantly is what you have to do to yourself to achieve that goal. So in attempting to go after your goal and go after your goal seriously, um, you have to do X, you have to do Y, you have to follow up a little better, you have to keep track of things more, you have to make bigger plans, you have to execute. That that changes you as a person. And so when you set that goal not only because yes, if I achieve that goal, it will be nice. It will be nice if I am able to walk away. I'm working on a project right now that is scheduled, construction is scheduled to be finished, I think in September, if nothing else happens, because COVID happened, this happened, and all those things impact the schedule. So, so let us say I'm able to really not not start a new project for this company, and I can go full time working for myself. Hooray! I achieved this objective. But more importantly, the changes and the transformation I have to make to myself to be able to achieve that is even more important. So that let's say I miss that goal and I have to start one more project. Let's say I put up this really objective I have to next year. I still haven't lost because of the person that I developed myself into in pursuit of that goal. Does that make sense? So so that is what I want to mm, have as my theme for 2022. I call it empowerment, um, personal empowerment. I'm empowering myself to do what it takes to achieve my objectives. And that's what I want each person to do. I want each of you to do that. And of course, how are we going to shape that? So we always talk about health on here. Okay? It doesn't matter what goal you have for yourself, whether you achieve the goal or not. If you don't have good health, you are not in a position to enjoy and to make the maximum use of your achievement. So front and center, first, number one priority has to be your personal health. Empower yourself to pay enough attention to your personal health. So what does that mean? That means make an appointment before the end of March, end of the first quarter. Make an appointment to go to your doctor. If you are a man, you do your prostate exam. You go to a urologist and he checks your prostate and see what's going on. If you are at least 50 years or older, man or woman, you should do a colonoscopy. You could do endoscopy. Um, you if you have more weight than you should, you turn around and you look at what you eat. You make a commitment to eat better. This one is especially for me. I went to a doctor 2 years ago and he was asking me general questions about myself and he asked me about my sleeping habits. And I said, Doc, you know, it's at least 1 a.m. before I even think of going to bed. I go to bed 1:32 a.m. on a regular, and I wake up 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I operate on about 4 hours of sleep. And he's an old man. He even retired during COVID. This guy looked like he was 80 something at least, but he was still sharp and vibrant. And he says to me, "You're going to be dead soon. You're going to die soon." I said, "Doc, what you say?" He said, "This is truth. If you only averaging 4 hours of sleep a night, you're going to be dead soon. People who get 4 hours of sleep don't live past X age." And like he says, I don't know any other way to say it to you. I'm an old man, and so I don't have to sugarcoat anything for anybody, and plus it's for your own good. If if you don't do something about your sleep, you're not going to be alive for X number of years. That's just statistically proven, and so on and so on. So I think about that, but if I tell myself, and it's a reality, it's not that I'm fighting to sleep, it's not that I have a problem to sleep, it's just that I get occupied and sleep doesn't enter my reality. The thought of going to bed doesn't enter my reality before it's midnight. If I'm doing something and I think, oh, I should go to sleep, I look at the clock, invariably it's at least midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m., whatever. Those of you that know me know sometimes you text me not expecting me to respond until the next morning, and I respond right away because I'm up. I don't bring my electronics into my room where I sleep. All of that stays out. I don't have television or anything where I sleep. So when I go to sleep, I'm asleep. If you're talking to me and I said I'm going to sleep, anything that you haven't said before that statement is not going to get heard. So I fall asleep like that. I sleep deep, and I wake up every morning around 4:30. If I feel like I don't want to go back, I don't want to get up, I will stay for the sleep for another hour. But I wake up at 4:30, and I never have this thing about I don't want to get out of bed. It's cold. Bed is cold. It's nice. I don't. I never have that. I wake up and I'm up, and I get up and I go do what I have to do. So hi Cleo, welcome. So when the doctor said that to me, that if I'm getting forward of sleep, it's going to kill me. I've been trying, and that's what I said. That COVID is 2 years, so it must have been maybe 3 years ago, and it's the hardest thing that I have tried to do. I have I have gone vegan for a year, absolutely no meat. I have given up alcohol for 2 years, absolutely no alcohol. All of this pleasurable stuff and things that I enjoy, I have been able to stop. You know, fruits, I've been able to cut down on a lot of things that I enjoy. But the sleep, to try to go to bed, I tell myself I'm going to try to go to bed at 10 p.m. So at least that would give me 6 hours or 7 hours. If I wake up at 5 to go to bed at 10 and wake up at 5, it is just the hardest thing. But I know that if I have to do the things I have to do in my business and to be there for my business, and when I achieve my goals, to be able to use it for the goals and the benefit that I need, I have to be able to change myself to be able to do that. And so that is what I'm encouraging you to do. It's not going to be an easy walk. It's not going to be a straight linear, no matter how disciplined you are. It's going to be an undulating journey where you excel and you do really good performance and you're positive and whatever, and then you find I don't something comes up, and you fall off. So don't think that if you miss a morning going to the gym that you fail. If you miss a week going to the gym that you fail. Just look at it as part of the journey that you missed, and you come back up. So if you it's not that you're setting up yourself and giving yourself an easy ride, and so you're making an excuse to fail. It's just that we know in life circumstances happen that make it difficult for us to be consistent. And so what happens is that, okay, let's take a simple example. You take an example that you want to get up in the morning and go to the park and exercise every morning. And you go in gang boxes, you back boxes it for 3 months, whatever, whatever. And something happens. Could be something very simple. Maybe somebody comes to your house to visit, and so that disrupts your schedule. Maybe somebody is visiting your mom or whatever, visiting for a month or whatever, and that disrupts your schedule. Maybe the person is in a space where you would exercise something. I don't know. But any little thing, it doesn't have to be your own cause that causes you not to go, and then you all of a sudden you find, wow, 2 weeks I haven't gone out. And so a lot of people use that as failure and never get back on in the saddle, so to speak. If you look at it as it's a natural, things happen in cycles. So there's a cycle where you're killing it, and there's a cycle where it's a little bit more of a struggle and you fail. Then it's very easy to pick yourself back up and get that crest going back up so you can continue. Because the idea is consistency and persistence. And so we want to be able to give ourselves that permission that we're doing this for ourselves. Empowerment is that you empower yourself to devote the time and the attention and the resources to yourself. So good evening, Maggie, my big sister, Carve, and everyone. Welcome, guys. I see Cleo is on the Cleo Michael, and I just got to know her. She's part of his family, and she is a certified life coach. And so she's already promised to come on the show and to help me to be able to, as a trained professional, because I'm not a professional, I'm just talking about life experience. So what I'm definitely looking forward to having you on the show. Didi Easter says, you talk the talk and walk the walk. Self-empowered people understand their strengths and weaknesses and are motivated to stick to their goals. Thanks for the encouragement. So certainly, Didi, for sure, if you self-empowered, you understand your strengths and your weaknesses. And so some folks, I have a little thing about that. A lot of people like to focus on their weakness and try to improve their weakness. I have a different take. I say expand on your strengths and delegate the weakness to somebody else to do it for you. So, or find a workaround. But in reality, there is nothing that you achieve without effort. So your weakness might be, let's say your objective is to learn to speak French. And it's difficult, but if you examine it, your weakness may just be you have a difficult time carving out a 30 minutes every day. You cannot get 30 minutes to devote to yourself, to sit down in a corner, sit down in one place, take your phone or take your computer, however it is that you're learning, and devote that half hour to learning French. So if your weakness is that, you recognize that. And so you find tricks and you create an environment where you can create the habit of devoting that 30 minutes. We are halfway mark, so time is really, wow. It's already 8:30. Quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. If you joined us a little late, you're listening to this weekend interview, this first episode for 2022, and I didn't invite a guest because I wanted just to wrap a little bit. I wanted to give you my idea of how I'm going to shape the program for 2022. And so the theme that I came up with for 2022 is self-empowerment. So quick break. When we come back, we'll continue.
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
If you live in Canada, the US, and the UK and are looking for Dominica products including cocoa sticks, bay rum, coffee, soaps, crafts, and other popular Dominica items, then look no further. You can now shop on BuyDominicaOnline.com, a secure, easy-to-navigate website selling a wide variety of Dominica-made and Dominica-inspired products. When you shop on BuyDominicaOnline.com, you are helping to grow Dominica's economy. Go to BuyDominicaOnline.com and enjoy home away from home.
All right, welcome back. So listeners, tonight we're talking about empowerment, and for the whole year we're going to talk about empowerment. Okay, how is that going to be to shape in terms of how this speaking interview is going to be? Not a whole lot of difference. However, I'm going to come back to it often. I'm going to bring people like Cleo on. She's a certified life coach, so I'll bring her on every so often. So she can give us from a trained and a professional point of view. I see Carve is on, and I know Carve is a minister, and so he has training as well in terms of guiding people and leading them through certain challenges. So that's also welcome. And as well, I am going to encourage you to send me recommendations. But so one of the one of the things that we started talking about is personal empowerment is taking care of yourself. So we spoke about your health, and I talk about your physical health, where I'm encouraging you to make appointments to go see a doctor. There are some men that are reluctant to go to the doctor, and there are some women that are worse. Okay, there are some people, they have to feel like they're about to die before they figure they want to go to the they want, before they feel like they want to go to the doctor. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to say that you are worth it. You are worth your own time and your own attention. Imagine that you're in a relationship and you're feeling like the person's not making time for you, your needs don't matter, everything else seems to take precedence. You feel like a remainder. When you do a division and it's not a clean division, you have a remainder, you feel like it's a remainder. If you feel like you're a remainder, maybe you should do a division, but that's a different topic. I'm not that kind of counselor. But you feel like you are a remainder, and what would you do? You would get upset. You would probably confront the person. You would try to change the circumstance so that it can change the dynamics of the relationship. But imagine that is the relationship you have with yourself. Imagine that you are treating yourself the way that you would not accept somebody else to treat you. Why would you treat yourself worse than you would treat anybody else? Or you wouldn't allow somebody else to treat you like that. So you treat yourself that way. And so make appointments. Make appointments. Even if you are strong and 18-year-old, make an appointment. Go to your doctor. Have your doctor check your vitamin D level, your vitamin E level, check your function of your kidneys. Your young people all of a sudden have kidney failure. If you went to check at least once a year, probably that would be a sign. Check something, check your heart, make sure everything is good. So go to the doctor and do that at least once a year if you're young and have no issues. If you're like me and you pass 50, you need to do your prostate exams every year. You need to do your colonoscopy at least once every 5 years, or consult. Once you've done the first one, you can consult with your doctor as to when you need to come back and that kind of thing. Women do your breast exams, your pap smear, whatever it is. There's enough information out there. Just do what it takes. One, to assure yourself that you are healthy and there's nothing lurking around the corner to surprise you. And two, if you have a condition, that you're taking care of yourself. If you're hypertensive, that you're taking your medication and that you're checking, because hypertension, people say, oh, I feel good, I have a headache, I don't have any of those things. If there's a history that you feel fine, but you have high blood pressure, and all of a sudden you find that you have a stroke. So take care of yourself, physical, mental also, and spiritual. I'm going to group those two because I believe they intertwine. So what we spoke about in terms of picking something that you're going to work on for yourself, that is both mental and spiritual. Because by setting a mental target, by committing yourself to achieving that target, by pursuing that target, that in itself is spiritual, because you have to center yourself, and you have to seek guidance and strength from whatever you believe in as your source of power. If you're a Christian, you believe with God. If you whatever it is that you, but you have to feel that you have to center yourself and connect to that source of power and that source of inspiration to be able to achieve your goal. So it's both mental and it's spiritual. And give yourself permission to take the time. Take the time. Go if your home is busy and you can't get a break, when your husband comes home, tell him you have to run to this, you have to go do something. Go to the library for half an hour and spend some time with yourself. If the weather is fine, go to the park. Do something. Put you have to put importance on yourself the same way that you put importance on how people treat you and how you treat other people. You have to empower yourself to treat yourself in the same way. Wealth. Um, a lot of us grow up thinking that it's it's not cool to be pursuing prosperity. It's not cool to want to have money. It's not cool to no. You you have to absolutely have to want to achieve financial some kind of financial stability, because otherwise you are going to be always constantly pursuing. So you have to look at your saving habits, you have to look at your earning potential, you have to look at your circumstances, and you have to first of all think that you deserve a certain level of wealth, a certain level of comfort. Some people feel that if if you look like you want stuff for yourself, you're greedy, you're selfish, you're age, you this, you that, and the other. But if you don't have, how can you give, right? And you get a lot of pleasure from giving, and of course, if you have, then look around and see where you can make a difference, because the best way to acquire is to give. Best way to acquire is to give. You hear so many stories about folks who are having a hard time and still let the little bit that they have, they give it to somebody who seems like they need it more than themselves. And then they get back more than what they gave. So so the idea is not that you're giving with to receive. You're giving with your heart and you get pleasure from giving. Okay? But it's just a natural law that if you're generous, generosity comes back to you. I tell you, when I was a little boy growing up, my mother used to think she had the responsibility to feed every person who was shot in the village. Everybody who couldn't fend for themselves, she thought it was her job to feed them. And you know who used to have to bring it? Me. She cook food, and she's like, "Oh, I take out some food for Mr. Polo, go bring it for him. Or I take some food for this person, for my day, or for whoever it is." And of course, as a little boy, you rather be playing cricket, you rather be doing whatever, and you're grumbling and you're going reluctantly. And sometimes when I reach by Mr. Polo, I have to feed him, you know. And I mean, I'm 8 years old, 9 years old. I have to feed him when I get there. And and when and I'm upset. Sometimes you get there and the person is older, so they've defecated on themselves, and it's just an unpleasant thing. But that, I think, really, really strengthened a lot of my mental fortitude. That even as a little boy, how children think about old people, and you in the house there with the man by himself. First you come, you're afraid of him, and you come in the room and you're feeding him, and God forbid he make the mistake and you hold your hand, you know, just situations that's not comfortable, but I recognize that what it was doing for me, in terms of building that spirit of generosity, because it's not as if we grew up with a lot. We grew up with very little. My mother was a preschool teacher, and parents used to pay $1 a month for a child. I think she raised it to $1.50 after a while for a child. And so we did not have a lot, but she always found enough to give somebody. God, on a Sunday, 2 or 3 people in the village have to get a Sunday meal. And so you watch that happen in your parents, and you participate in that, and it makes you sort of like a different person. So where that coming from, the more you have is the more you can give. So pay attention to your wealth, your financial health, your wealth. Um, your relationships also important. Make sure, as I said, that people treat you the way you want to be treated. You treat yourself the way you want to be treated. One of the areas that I want to focus on a lot is to pay attention to people who are doing businesses. Because of COVID, a lot of folks use their hobbies and their skills and turn it into business. And so on this weekend interview, I want to feature a lot of people who do business, but I want to do it like more than just on this weekend interview. I want us to actually support them and help them to do their marketing and help with their awareness and so on. Of course, there's a reason for that, because we hope that the businesses that we help to nurture and they grow, they can become sponsors of TDN Radio so that we can do more. So that is my objective. That's one of my objectives. But so we're going to do a lot of that. And of course, we're going to do a lot of art and culture. You know, I like to bring writers on and talk about their books and their work and the literary works and so on. And speaking of that, this let me get the information. Um, TDN has a show called Dissect on a Saturday at 7 p.m. Every Saturday at 7 p.m. there is a program called Dissect where they bring an artist on and they play their music and they interact with them and interview them. You know, like before when you used to buy albums or CDs, when you buy the CD, it used to be so good if there's a little insert in the CD that tells you about the band or the artist, where they were born, what they were like, what motivated them. So you feel like you know a little bit more about the artist, and that makes you even enjoy the music even more because you feel like you can identify with that person. And so that's what Dissect is on TDN Radio every Saturday at 7 p.m. So this Saturday we have a real treat for you. If you're from Dominica, you know Chubby of the Midnight Groovers. Um, he's going to be the guest on Dissect tonight, on Saturday night at 7 p.m. And I'm saying TDN Radio, but of course, most things we do that we do on TDN Radio, we also do it on TDN TV. Like now, you can view me on TDN TV as well as on TDN Radio and on our Facebook page. So on TDN Radio Facebook page, you'll be there as well, and we also brought do YouTube. But Dissect will be on TDN TV and TDN Radio on Saturday. So you can see Chubby. I don't know when last you saw Chubby. Those of you who are my age, you grew up listening to Midnight Groover, the Coco Sec, and Bring Back the Milk and Honey, and all of that. So Novelist and those guys are having Chubby on at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So make sure you tune in. Put that in your calendar. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. Chubby is always a great performer and entertainer. So I see Sharon Darival is on. Sharon is one of my go-to artists. Um, she, you know, she's prolific. She writes. She wins awards for her poems. She writes books that they use in schools in Canada to help teach kids about bullying and all of that. And so Sharon is on, and I look forward to having her on. I know she's working with somebody to do something with domestic abuse, and we're looking forward to doing that. And so all of that is part of our self-empowerment, because if you have a business, I want you, if you have a business or you offer a service, send me a quick text, a quick email. I'm going to put my phone number in here, so you can just text me, or you can send us an email at CDN Radio, or you can go on Facebook and message us that way. Um, Tell me about your business, and what I will do is I will get you on, even if not for a whole hour as a guest. You can hoping I get a good response that you will not be bring everybody as a single guest. Maybe I bring you on as a group, or maybe I'll give you a 5 minutes. Excuse me. Maybe give you a 5 minutes or 10 minutes to tell people about your business. But more than that, I want to create an environment where I want to create an environment where we helping our businesses grow. We do a lot of the promotion and the marketing and make it possible for you to do it because we want you to grow. So if you're a mechanic in Atlanta or you tax time, you do taxes, you're a seamstress, anything. The corporate and we have a dental business in Boston, any business whatsoever, small or big. It could just be one person doing some soaps or some oils and you sell it online. Send us an email. The email that you want to send is at info at tdnradio.net. Let me put it in the chat. So send me an email. Tell me about your business, your contact, how you can contact me, what you offer. You can just text my phone number. Just send me a WhatsApp. Send me whatever. Contact us on Facebook. I want to develop a business community centered around the show, so all of that is part of the empowerment. Okay, if you have an idea that you always wanted to start a business, but you want to help with work on the logistics, just just send it, because what I'm hoping is that we can support each other. So if you have your business and you want to start your business, but whatever shortcoming that you think that you need, let us form a community that grows the business, because we want to be able to develop that side of it so that we can be symbiotic and support each other, and we can do an ecosystem. As you know, TDN media, TDN radio, TDN TV, everybody are volunteers, and we need to change that. The objective is to change that, where folks who are on the media can benefit from it, whether they get advertisers or get sponsorship or whatever. We want to be able to maintain where eventually everybody can benefit something from the effort and the time that they put, that is not all volunteer. And so every so often we'll have a business that we feature. Okay, so that's what you will see. Um, this weekend interview is going to take that kind of a format, that theme of self-empowerment, because when we started with just doing interviews, that was rare. When Thompson started it, we found out about Dominicans in every corner of the globe, in every crack, in every profession. There was a Dominican who was excelling. And sometimes we go beyond Dominica into the Caribbean, who were captains in the military, who were running their own aircraft carrier for the U.S. military, who's a scientist working wherever, who whatever, doing woodwork in Dominica, big and small. We were interviewing people starting, this is our 12th year. Now it's more common and more people are doing it. And that's fine. And so there's not so much of a need for us anymore to be doing this personality interviews. We'll do some of it because there's still interesting people around. But I'm pivoting it to where we do it around a theme. And this year's theme is personal empowerment. Personal empowerment. And so I hope you catch the vision that I'm trying to paint. I hope you catch the direction of where we're going to go. I have a guest next week already lined up. She is a business lady as well as a professional. So she's going to be on with us next week, and we will do that kind of interview. But it fits in the whole scheme of things. I also tell you that we started doing news Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1:30 p.m. with Ken Richards. It's like a Caribbean roundup news, things that's happening around the region and so on. Um, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1:30 p.m. You can tune in for that. So we're trying to really be right there. Um, FM, we're hoping to get a little more of a presence in Dominica. We have a project that we want to do FM in Dominica. There's a void right now. Um, so we're hoping to execute a lot of those plans. You may see less politics from me this year. I know that had to believe. Politics is one of my, but really and truly, in examining where I wanted to go, in my mind, there's nothing more you can say about Dominica politically that people don't already know. You know, the the corruption is wide open. It's plain. It's blatant. People tolerate it. The reluctance to follow the law in terms of voting and voters list and all of that. Everybody know I have strong feelings about that. The state of the economy, the destruction of agriculture, and the inability to use the abundance of water. Um, I haven't been to Dominica in a while, but I got it from good source that you can find bottled water in Dominica that was bottled in Antigua. That is not a joke, then nothing else is a joke. Water that was bottled in Antigua. Antigua doesn't have one piece of river. They bottle water in Antigua and it's able to sell on the shelves in Dominica. So what else is there for me to tell people about politics and about needing to look differently at their leadership? Um, what else is there to say? And so I am not that motivated to talk about politics. Of course, I'm a political junkie, so I'm going to relapse every so often and talk about it. But by and large, that's not my focus, and that's why I am taking this turn where let's empower each other, let's empower ourselves, let's get the knowledge that we can get, and then people will make their own decision. When people become uncomfortable in their setting, we definitely will see a change. And also, there's one thing that's important as well. In terms of a cause that you want to preach after, I want you guys to help me to shape a message for young people. Um, when young people are of dating age, it seems like it's more about party and good time and that kind of thing. I don't know how we can turn that around to get young people to focus on a more long term. So to to start a young man who is 21, 18, 19, 21, 22 to start thinking about having a family, having a wife and kids that he's going to take care of, rather than thinking of where's the next jam um, and that kind of thing. I'm looking around and I find that it's not that I'm condemning like having kids before you're married, but it's becoming so normal that is the norm for a young girl to have one or two babies before she's married, or a young boy to have two or three before he's married. And to me, that complicates a relationship so much because then you bring, if the woman has kids and she gets married, now there's some kids in the house who have one father, a different father. The guy himself might have kids in another household. It splits the resources, it dilutes what they can do. And I just feel like it's not that we're trying to shame anybody into whatever it is that happens. We just want to bend the mentality a little bit more towards um, people thinking about permanence and long term a little earlier in life. That's the best way I can put it. That mentality that it's okay for a young man because a young man to feel like he's looking forward to being married and have a wife and kids, and not just the next enjoyable thing that he can find. And so I'm going to find ways to incorporate some of that message. I know it sounds like a lot, but I know we can wrap our minds around it. We have a year, But I think that that's important because that in itself is empowering. A young man is empowered to think like that rather than just this, because that other thought brings a lot of alcohol and drugs and disease and all kinds of negative things that has wider implications into the life of young people before they're ready to deal with those kind of responsibilities. And so, uh, my audience, this is what I want to do. I want us to do together for 2022. Let's see how much of it we can achieve. Let's see what we can do. We commit ourselves to pursuing it. I thank you for joining me um, for the hour. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I took a break from middle of December all the way to all of January, and we're back. And thank you so much for staying with us. And keep your suggestions coming, keep your recommendations coming, keep your ideas coming. Let me know what you think about the things that I presented. Um, Christine, thank you. After you put me on the spot, now it's a great initiative. So speak on the carrot. Thank you. Um, everybody, let's make 2022 a wonderful and fulfilling year. Remember, COVID is still around, so be careful. Continue to wear your mask and social distance as much as possible as we continue to grapple with how we deal um, with, 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 um, with the challenges that the pandemic faces. Theo, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. And as I said, I look forward to having you on soon. Well, this has been episode number 1 of season 12 of this speaking interview. I thank you for tuning in. Thank you to my producer, Sam. Let's make 2022 a big year. Thank you.